thanks everyone for joining us. Great to see some of the regulars as well. We've got some people from all over, which is brilliant. UK, US, I think we've got Croatia and Singapore on board as well, so that's really good. Drop us a little note in the chat, let us know where you're from, because it's always interesting to see where the spread is and where people are. We've got Robert from Pennsylvania, well, New York, but he's in Pennsylvania at the moment. Great to see you.
Thank you.
We have, so you're from Multivision Digital, aren't you, Robert? Oh, and he's frozen. On that note, I'll go over to Gary. Is everyone frozen? There we are. Who hasn't frozen? I'll question you. Oh, there we are. Gary, how you doing?
I'm good. Yourself?
Great to see you again. Loving that background as well.
Thank you. Yeah, like I said, you're not an agency unless you've got AstroTurf on the walls, right?
Yeah, that is it. That is it. That's what I need to do. I'm not an agency, but I still want AstroTurf on the walls. And I do love those pillows as well. I just put that in. I put that out there. Facebook and an Instagram cushion would be perfect for me.
Yeah, right. Well, we'll get it. Put it on your wish list.
Yeah, I'll put it on my wish list. Yeah. So Gary's the founder of Capital Content. He's going to do his little intro in a minute. We've also got Paul Brown joining us. Paul's the CEO for Baked Bean Media. Great to see you again, Paul. Lovely.
Hi, how are you?
Very good, thank you. That's a very big microphone you've got there.
You know what they say?
Yeah.
All the gear, no idea.
I thought you were going to say something else then, but yeah, great. Jack Cook, we've got Jack Cook's the owner of Beyond the Brand video. Brilliant to see you again, Jack, in sunny Bristol.
Yep.
Right.
All good.
Fantastic. Right, so we'll just do a little intro on everyone. I'm going to put a little bit of a 2-minute limit on this, because otherwise we might get pushed behind with time. So, Robbie, what do you guys do over in Multivision, and what's your kind of USPs and your niche, if you like?
Well, thank you. Hopefully I'm not going to lock up right now, but we're a digital marketing company. So my background is not video. I'm not a video guy, and I come from it from a business perspective. So I didn't really know how traditional video productions functioned when I started my business almost 10 years ago. So we've always been, from where my skill set lies is in sales and marketing. So we're really a digital marketing company, and we're creating sales and marketing content that just happens to be video. We believe that every part of the marketing funnel and the sales funnel can be ripped apart and video integrated into that for maximum impact. And that's what we've been doing. And it's won us a decent amount of business over the years and clients. To date, we've probably at little under or close to 900 videos that we've done. Because our projects are not one video, they're multiple. Sometimes they're one, obviously, but many times there are 3 videos or 7 videos that really provide content back to the client that they need to affect search engine optimization or case studies or FAQs or launching a product. So that's where we come at it, and that's what we've been doing.
Yeah, good stuff. All really important stuff right now, isn't it?
Yep.
It's the thing right now. Jack, what about you guys in Beyond the Brand, or you in Beyond the Brand?
Yes, I like the way you said guys. Everybody else is an agency. Yes, no. There's an E on the end of my name, by the way. But I can't write it. There we go. Yes. So Beyond the Brand, essentially, it started. I've been doing video for like 20 years, like real amateur, obviously when I was 12 years old, right through to now, which is doing it professionally for businesses. And really, it came about because Beyond the Brand was a project I did with a social media management company I was running. And I just had to get back into video. It was my passion. And I wanted to get to who are these people that are creating businesses, where there's a passion, where's the ups and downs. And from that, essentially, I wanted to niche down and create social media content for myself and businesses, where you reach the audience, you talk to the audience, you make sure they're aware of you, who your personality is, what your ethos is, and why they should align with you. And I feel that in this day and age with so much noise, it's good to be associated with someone or some passion And yeah, people will buy from you. People buy from people that they trust, and that's what I want businesses to do. So I create social media content and other videos for various other places, pre-lockdown hotels, etc., etc. But yeah, now it's mostly social media content for businesses, and I love it. I love what I do. And
you do a bit for some amazing recruitment and event companies as well, don't you?
Yeah, I've done quite a bit. Gyms, hotels, recruitment companies, just various people, really sort of making sure that their message is heard in the right way and reaching the right audience that they're trying to target.
Yeah, no, I love your stuff. Nice and confident, nice and eye-catching. Yeah, you've done a great job for some of our bits as well. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Thank you very much, Jack Cook with an E. Sorry about that.
That's right, there we go.
Gary, tell us about Capco or Capital Content.
Yeah, so that is actually two separate things. So Capco Group are a bunch of brands. One of them is Capital Content. And we're now a full digital agency. So we lead with video, but we use web, social design, and photo to complement the video. But really, we're kind of like, our new kind of strapline is that we're social first storytellers. And we have a mixture of, our three members of the exec team are production focused, marketing focused, and sales focused. So you have quite a good mixture of what looks good versus what works well from a sales and marketing perspective. But yeah, that's kind of us in a nutshell. We're objective based. So if a business or a brand wants to sell more product, raise brand awareness, then we will create the strategy to achieve those objectives, build on the concepts, produce, and then help distribute that video content to convert eyeballs into sales.
Fantastic. Nice, brief, punchy summary there. Proper elevator pitch, that is. I love that.
I know, right? Yeah. I'm ex-corporate sales. I spent 14 years as a global corporate account manager for Vodafone. So you cut me, I bleed red kind of stuff,
And where are you from? You've done a bit of traveling, haven't you?
Yeah, well, we're currently based in Surrey. We're a national organisation, but I am from Addlestone. So I'm Gary Gumbleton from Addlestone. I made this joke last time saying I was a hobbit, but I did spend 10 years in NZ. I got back about 4 years ago, and that was where kind of the agency was born from. NZ are kind of like, 4 or 5 years ahead of the UK in terms of video content strategy. So I brought a few ideas back with me, and then one thing led to another. It was me, a laptop and a camera. And then 6 months later, I was like 10 staff rocking, Ministry of Defence down to Cornwall Council,
Nice. Yeah, and I can see some of your stuff on LinkedIn. It looks like some exciting things going on.
Yeah, we're really busy at the moment. We're just on a brand refresh. So there's lots of stuff coming out, which is great.
Nice. Watch your space. Paul from Baked Bean Media, last but not least, sorry. How are you getting on?
Yeah, good, thanks. My pitch is going to be nowhere near as good as Gary's, I'm afraid to say.
You smashed it. Should we just go home now?
Yeah. But yeah, headlines with myself. I've got a business partner called Andy. We're co-founders. We created Baked Bean Media only a year ago, so we're very young, and we enjoy creating social media across all platforms and want to help people out. Basically, that's the real headlines. We do video, we do social media support, and we don't do any of the traditional marketing stuff. So it's a real niche to what we do.
You do. I've seen you do stuff on LinkedIn, but you're pretty strong on Instagram as well, aren't you?
Yeah. So work across all platforms. TikTok. I don't work with Snapchat. TikTok, Insta, Facebook, Twitter, a bit of YouTube. But yeah, just kind of enjoy it all personally. So yeah, if any clients need any help across all platforms, happy to help out.
Fab, yeah. So if we want tips on how to go viral, you're the man, yeah?
Yesterday, my first 1 million views on TikTok within 24 hours. So
nice.
that was an achievement I wanted. And
the Rolls Royce video?
Sorry, Jack?
The Rolls Royce video?
Yeah, the Rolls Royce thing, yeah.
Loved it.
Oh, what did you do?
So I guess top tip is straight away is just have your phone ready, and you never know what's, whether it be in Bristol or New York or London, there's always stuff going on, and I think just be alert. And yeah, I just saw someone on a bicycle with a megaphone. explaining why didn't you buy a 30k car and you bought a Rolls Royce. I filmed it for 10 seconds, put some simple captions on it, and yeah, it went viral. Within 24 hours to 1 million views, and I think that's just an example of be creative of how limited you've got. Don't worry about cameras, just see it, shoot it, post it, and have fun.
That's amazing. Congratulations on that. Well done. That's really good stuff. Yeah, fab, bro. So today we're specifically going to be talking about how can I confidently build my personal or business brand, bit of a mouthful, using video, and you guys are the experts. Robert's new to the show on this occasion. Gary, Paul and Jack joined us in the last one. It was really good. And we just got to talk forever. So we kind of got it a bit down into some more granular detail. And one of the key challenges seems to be, how do people kind of make the first step into doing their first video, and how do they get confident, and how, what do they need to get going? Because you see these people on LinkedIn and some of them are just nailing it. They're like, I look at it and think, I can never do that. I can never be as good as that. And they're getting like thousands of likes. And then other people you just see, with respect, and they kind of bomb, and so I think a lot of people are a bit afraid in some respects, aren't they? And just need to build that confidence. But Jack, you're if you don't mind me saying, Mr. Confident, aren't you? Oh no, of course he's frozen just as I
I think it's over.
Okay, he's back.
I knew it. As soon as I got to Jack, he froze. No, he's back. Yeah. So firstly, I guess, why is video so important to our personal or business brand, and what can it do for us?
You talking to me or everyone?
To Jack, yeah, that's to you, my friend.
Yeah, cool. So, for me, I think, as I've always said, people buy from people, and personal brands. If people resonate with you and they want to invest in you, let's say there's like 10 guys that are going to do £100 videos, and they all do the same thing. What makes someone want to pick that one person out of all the rest of them? And the deciding factor, if you take out the quality of the work, is how do they resonate, not just with the person, but with the entire brand, the personality of the brand. And for me, I believe that, like I said, people buy from people. That if people like me, they're more likely to buy from me. I can spruce up my brand, make it look all luxury, real nice. But at the end of the day, if I walk into that meeting room and the person doesn't like me from the get-go, it's a waste of everybody's time. So for me, building a personal brand, just make sure that you are filtering out the people that are going to work with you, and you're going to work with them, and you're going to have that synergy, and just making sure that you're meeting the right people, and they're gravitating towards your brand, and they're on board with everything you have to say and what you have to do. So for me, that's what I think is the most important thing, especially in this day and age where, like I said earlier, there's too much noise.
Yeah. So do you think you've like carved your niche, and then you've got your place in the market, which is great. Yeah. And do you think like more people are drawn to you because of that niche? Is that like almost like they're funneling into you?
Yeah, it's exactly that. Because I know there's people out there that I'll talk to most days that will never work with me because I'm just not the right fit for them. But every client that I've got on board now makes the work between us makes me happy, makes them happy. They know how I work, and they understand what they're going to get with me, and I couldn't ask for better, because at the beginning, when I first launched Beyond the Brand, I was taking every bit of work, and it wasn't working out with say 20% of the people I was working with. But now I'm attracting the right people because they know who I am and what they're going to get when they meet me. So yeah, absolutely, it does fun.
Fab. And Paul, like you mentioned about the video that you did yesterday, 1 million views, which is amazing, of course, and we all want to at the back of our mind, even if we admit it or not, we all kind of strive that we want to get that kind of like rating and reviewing and exposure. Do you think, like, because we're in really changing and very interesting times, there are good and there are positives and negatives about it, of course, but do you think now is like the ideal time to do it, or do you think you know, we're a little bit late, or do you think, you know, a little bit early? What's your thoughts? Do you think it's like the time?
Yeah, I think if you're not doing it, you should be doing it. The amount of clients or people that I see not doing it, I think we are still very young in the video process. I think, yeah, I can't name one good recruitment company doing good videos in London that I know of in my network. And I used to work in that market. So I think there's definitely a lot of companies not using video marketing at all, really.
Let's have a chat after, yeah. But you're from Exec Search, aren't you?
Yeah. So my background is recruitment. I helped grow a business from 0 to 100 people in recruitment. I was always naturally just trying to do videos. Did we nail it? Maybe not, but maybe we were probably the best recruitment company out there of telling people what it was actually like working at the company through videos. So yeah, we never invested in it the way that I would like to have done it. Maybe that's one of the reasons why I left. But yeah, I think there's a lot of companies not capitalizing on video marketing.
Yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll ask everybody here just to give me their number. On a scale of 1 to 10, from a business to business adoption, where do you think we're at in video adoption?
Still reckon we're around about 4.
Yeah, I reckon 4 to 5. I mean, you look, every other post is a video on LinkedIn at the moment, but people are just throwing out stuff and hoping it sticks. And I don't think they're thinking about it. They're just like every middle-aged white guy that's got a bit of time on his hands is making a video. And really, you know, they understand there's importance there, but there's no strategy behind it, you know? So they're making it, but they're not thinking about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just on your recruitment thing, I absolutely agree. The recruitment guys, there's no one doing it right. And it's the same with real estate agents, right? They are sales-led organizations. There is no marketing manager, or very few marketing managers in a real estate agent or in a recruitment company. Anywhere that does have a marketing manager, yep, they're touching on it, but they're sales-led organization. It's a bit like that image that you see on LinkedIn where there's like cavemen pushing a triangle rock, and then there's a bunch of other cavemen pushing a circular rock, shouting at the guys, and the triangle guys are like, sorry, we haven't got time to listen to you. We're too busy pushing this triangle rock. It's that kind of thing, you know?
Yeah, it is still very old school, isn't it? You know, it's probably, if you took a step back 10 years, there's probably not a lot has changed in that industry, actually, where people are still, you know, smashing the phones and cold calling and dealing with objections.
Yeah, people are making like they're standing in front of a whiteboard and explaining, you know, whatever their product is or how to solve stuff. And I'm like, well, that's what you did in the 80s to a class of people. That does not relate, or that does not convert into a video. You've got to make something different for that video. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So,
not only that, but I deal with a lot of lawyers and accountants, and I can't tell you how many times I've heard, "Oh, we're not doing video. We don't see a need for video." Even yesterday through LinkedIn says, you know, if we ever start to go down the path of video, you're my first call. And my response is very similar to kind of what Jack said, is like, video helps build that know, like, and trust factor. And as a lawyer or a real estate agent or an accountant, and, you know, span everybody because you build relationships, what is better from a digital standpoint than video to do that, right? Because, you know, with Jack, in your example, it helps like almost dequalify them, but it also can, you know, significantly qualify somebody because you've watched 3 or 4 videos, you understand, you know what some of the, you know, answers are to your questions, and you're more inspired to talk to that person. And that's the impact of video.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, that's really important. Got a good question here from Naomi. Thank you, Naomi. One of our regulars. Good to see you. So do you think it's worse to put out not a great bit of content than no video content at all? I'll put that to Gary to start off with, if you don't mind. So is it worse to put out not a great bit of content than no video content at all?
You know, it's funny because I've seen a bunch of people, or you see it all the time, people posting, oh, this is my first video. Check it out. Don't be, you know, tell me in the comments what you think it's like. And that kind of stuff gets massive engagement because there's authenticity specifically in that first video, right? And I think you also bloopers, like a bloopers, back-to-back bloopers, huge engagement, but it's effectively you being, you know, it's the bad bits of your content. So I don't think it's necessarily an issue with posting out a bad bit of content or just throwing it out and not thinking about it. I think it's doing it with purpose. And with confidence, you know. I mean, one thing I would say is, like, if you were to learn to draw, for example, right, you're not, the first picture that you draw, you're not necessarily gonna post that picture or show that picture to friends because it's the first picture you ever drew. So don't worry about recording lots of videos on your phone and not posting them. It doesn't, you know, you're not gonna run out of tape. You know what I mean? Like, just record as many videos as you want. Don't worry about posting it. If you think the best of the bad bunch is okay, post it and see what happens. Get feedback. You know, the what do I always say? It's kind of like your perception of you is very different to others' perception of you. You know?
Yeah.
If I could also talk about that, I mean, I think it depends on where that video is going. If it's on social, then you've got a little bit more leeway not to be so polished. But if that video is going to be launching a product or be on your website as the reasons why you should work with us, then it needs to be professional, right?
Yes, thought leadership kind of stuff, absolutely. It can be a bit raw. Yeah.
Yes, Jake. And we always say, if you're new to video, lead with the professional and then start doing your own, which may not be polished, but at least that professional stuff is there. Because if you're a professional, you're going to show up, you know, nice. You're going to do your other documentation. Your website is professional. Why should your video not be when people are more leveraging video to make decisions about you?
Do you think, particularly within these times again, you know, but do you think it's important to build your business brand and your personal brand as well? Because
100%.
Changing super quick. What's your thoughts on that, Jack?
Yeah, I build both because the way I look at it, let's say any of us wanted to sell our business down the line, right? You don't want to be relying solely on you because you are the business. I made this mistake and I've been, I'm now working away from that. So I feel like, build your brand on the side, make sure people know what the business does, exactly what you offer, because one day you might want to sell it or you might step away from it or whatever, but you want it to function on its own. Whereas the personal brand, which can complement, they can both complement each other. I think the personal brand is, imagine if something went wrong. I always try and think about this worst case scenario, you lose your job, you lose your business or whatever, you've still got your personal brand to fall back on. Almost like having an open CV online where people know exactly who you are, what your skills are and what you're capable of doing, and know your personality. And you're there, you've got safety net. So definitely work and pillar on both, but let there be a bit of synergy between the two.
Yeah. So Charlotte's just, Leo, I'll come back to your question in a minute. It's a good question. But Charlotte Herzog, I hope I pronounced that right, has come up with a question in relation to that as well. So what kind of split would you recommend, like of professional and personal videos, or is it sector specific? What would you say?
Oh, me?
Jack, sorry, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I mean, I'm sure we've all got different opinions on this, but I think it's the time and the placement. And we were talking about products, and then we were talking about personal brand videos, and we were talking about what's raw and where certain elements should go. Certainly, if you're on your website, you would like a good show reel that represents you. Whereas on social media, you might want something that's a bit more candid, a bit more raw, that gets to know the person, etc., etc. So yeah, realistically, just mix it up and make sure you're using the right video in the right place, because you don't want to give, and you're almost consistent with that as well. So people aren't just getting a mixed bag of like, are they like this company or are they that company? Just that's you, that's the business, and that's the products they sell.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I'd like to hear what everybody else has to say actually.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, with Paul, when you do your videos, you seem like really natural, really candid. I saw one of you on a bike. I'm not sure how you filmed yourself on a how how do you kind of do that? Because I've started. Well, I had a few attempts at videos. Oh no, there he is. And I'm like really fixed, and I do about 97 million takes, you know, until the phones run out of memory, you know. So, well, what's your kind of tips on that? What would you recommend?
Yeah, so I think first of all, I think Robert's view of get a professional in first is great. It kind of gives you that signature, you know, this is what we can do at our best. This is us in ties, whatever your company culture is. I think that makes sense. What Gary said about, you know, doing your first video as raw as well, I think that's great as well, asking people what you think. So I would go with Robert first, Gary's, you know, raw videos first. We've kicked out the professional guys like Baked Bean Media. We've come in ourselves. We're going to do it ourselves. Got a tripod, got some nice lighting, and yeah, just going to go for it. And I think that's great. But to answer your question, I think you've got to do whatever you're comfortable doing. And I personally am really bad at scripted recording. When it comes to we discussed it today, when it comes to Paul recording for Baked Bean Media, if you try and make me script it, I am awful at doing it. So I just think about what I want to cover and record it twice and then edit 2 videos together. That's how I classically do it.
Right.
And hopefully if I made a mistake in one, the second one I can edit the good bits. So that's how I personally do it myself. But yeah, a lot of people in our company who work for us have to be scripted and have to have a nice storyboard to what's going to be filmed. So there is 2 ways of doing it. There's probably multiple ways. I personally like doing it off the cuff, but I see people in my company do it scripted and get great results.
Do you ever film some videos and think, nah, I'm not going to bother posting it, and then do something else? Have you got like loads of footage on, or do you just go for it?
I do keep footage, and like a year back, just today on Twitter, I did a video from last year, what the world was like a year ago today. So I always keep my footage, but yeah, I've got to plan what to film, and 100%, if I'm going to film, I will post whatever I do. It may not be the first take, but it may be the second take, and then we go. But normally 90% of stuff I film, I post straight away.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. So Gary, what would you say is the first, so for somebody who's never done a video before, what would you think would be what would you say would be the first step to get going?
The first step to get going, I mean, there's so many actionable tips. There's a production side, and then there's like the actual content side of it, right? I think you've got to know what you want to talk about. Some key things that I would do would be kind of batch create. And we mentioned this one in the last thing, is kind of actually think about 10 topics and talk about those 10 topics, and then cut that one long 5-minute video into, you know, 10 to 20-second videos, you know? But I would invest a little bit. I'd buy a tripod for 20 quid. The difference between good video and rubbish video is audio. So get a lapel mic, maybe get a ring light. I mean, this is, you know, you could get a really good production kit for like 40 quid from Amazon, like next day delivery. So I think that, you know, if you looked at your camera, if you held your phone in front of you and looked at your camera, that's it, and it's a bit shaky, it's poor lighting, and the audio is a bit poor, you're instantly going to not feel confident with that because it's not that good. But if it was shot on a tripod, good audio, good lighting, there's that first step in getting the confidence. And really, I'm talking about, like, you know, self-shot content. You know, there could be points where, if we're saying we're building brand or creating video with confidence, back to Paul's comment around, you know, don't script it. Absolutely, yeah, definitely don't script it. What we usually do when we're interviewing people is, instead of them scripting whatever they want to say, we get them to bullet point it, and then we turn those bullet points into questions, and then we ask the questions. We'll have a 20-minute conversation, but we'll make a 3-minute video from that 20-minute conversation. So, I mean, there's a million actionable tips, but I would, at first instance, invest in your production. 40 quid, bargains.
Yeah. Robert, you're big on the production side, aren't you as well? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, we have something called, we always start off with the business side first. So we start off with the strategy. A lot of people come to us, they want to talk about.
Good old Wi-Fi, eh?
Yes. Like, we haven't really figured that out yet.
Sorry, you cut off a bit then, Robert. You might have to start. Sorry.
Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Thumbs
yeah.
up?
Okay. Yeah, it just froze.
No, so a lot of people come to us and they tell us what they want to see in the video.
Mm-hmm.
I want a video that looks like this, and we ask them, well, what do you want it to say? What's the messaging? And they stop. So the most important thing is the messaging. And, you know, that should be driven by their business, right? Why would you want a corporate overview video if you're going to launch a product, right? Because you're going to spend a lot of time developing that product, research and development, the marketing side, the packaging, all the materials that support it, and you're going to launch that product and you're going to do a corporate overview video. It does not align with your business strategy. So what we say is when you get started, you know, whatever that is, aligned video to your business strategy, because video is just a piece of content, whether it's social or meant for, you know, LinkedIn, or if it's product launch or whatever that is, it's gonna flow right into your workflow in that area. That's the first thing. And then, you know, to Jack's point, you know, come up with a list of bullet points. Like, our whole thing is we expect the professional to know what they're talking about. So we never want a script. That's us, right? When we have somebody come in with a script, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be horrible, right? Because they're not actors, they're business people, right? And when I take that script away from them, literally they're in shock. But I softball them questions and they're very easy. They can talk about exactly what they do. And, you know, as Jack said, you do 2 takes and you match them together and they're fine, right? So I'm sorry, that was Paul that said that. Sorry.
I'm just looking. Oh, sorry.
So yeah.
I'm just looking at the poll here. We've got some good results coming through. Thank you, everyone, for voting on this so far. So one of the key things. Can you see that guy? The panelists.
Yeah, go on.
You can see it, yeah. So the key thing at this stage, we've got 81% of people have voted. So anyone else, get your vote in now if you can. That'd be great. So one of the key things is they worry about what people will say. So Jack, if ever I see your videos, I'm pretty confident you don't worry about what people are saying from what you said just now. You know, how can we overcome that? Any tips for us?
Look, yeah, there's plenty we can talk about, and I'm not gonna lie, I still worry about what people are gonna say. People out there, people are mean, people are like, you know, are trolls. You know, unfortunately, I've got a good audience and people look after me, but you'll never actually get yourself rid of that. Like, you're always gonna be worried about some element of creating videos, whatever that is. But for me, I think, you know, you've got to look at what the end goal is, right? When you started a business, you were probably worried about what your family were gonna say. You know, your first blog post, you're probably worried that nobody's going to read it. There's always going to be something to worry about, and there's always going to be a critic out there. And you've just got to stand back and say, like, that's my goal. Do I want that, or do I just want to let other people defeat me?
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, there's nobody out there. There's no fear to be had, because you'll just get loads of nice responses, and people are going to go, brilliant, thanks for that post, loves you, I can't wait for the next one. So really, that's all the psychology in our head telling us there's so many demons out there that, you know, going to be horrible to us. But actually, why not try it, see what happens, and you're going to surprise yourself. People are nice. There are good people out there. And once in a while, you get an asshole. Oh, sorry, yeah. But yeah, you get an horrible person. So yeah, just all I'd say is grin and bear it. Just put it out there. Just press that button, upload, and suddenly you'll realize that I was right and everything's okay.
I think sometimes maybe we over worry, don't we? That the devil in our head just kind of overthinks it. Did you see Harriet's video? Because she did one after our last
that's right.
webinar. Yeah. Did you see? I really like that, because I think Harriet's here now on. There's quite a lot of attendees, so I can't go through. But I really liked it because it showed a bit of vulnerability. It was like, it's my first video, so give me a chance, you know. And she put in some of the bloopers. It was everything. It was like, you know, and the engagement she had was amazing, wasn't it? You know.
and she's doing a great job of it as well. I mean, she's fun, bubbly, you know. It's and she's got good information. That's kind of what people expect.
That will become her style of videos now. That's her content, you know.
Tudor, we have a really quick answer to that, and also to the thing that Charlie just posted about not liking what she looks, he or she. It's like, get over it. Right? Because if you're in a Zoom call or if you go to a meeting, you're at a trade show, guess what? They're seeing you. You're in front of them anyway, right? So what are you going to do? What, hide? No, you're not going to hide. Again, it all goes back to being the professional that you are and having a plan and, you know, bullet point what you want to talk about, and you'll get comfortable over time. Whatever your style is, you know, like we've got, you know, a couple people with beards and a hat and bald and a shirt and glasses. Like, we are who we are.
I'll
change that.
Love it, Gary.
So people are buying us for our skill sets, not necessarily for what we look like.
Yeah.
I have got, sorry, I don't mean to take over a little bit. I want to let everybody else talk. There is actually the 3 things I talk about, and Robert's right, it is a case of just getting over it. But if you need to tell yourself something, first one is familiarity principle. When you watch yourself back, it's not the same person you see in the mirror every day. We should be familiar with our own faces, but it feels a bit awkward. There's a little deep psychological thing going on in your head. There's a complex as well, which I just totally forgot the name of. So basically, whenever we watch ourselves back, we'll only ever be critical, you know, and pick those little bits. 10 great things, 2 things you hate. Every time you watch a video, you're going to see that your hair out of place, would you believe? Or you're going to see something horrible. And also, you get imposter syndrome as well. There's all sorts of things mixed in. But all you got to do is tell yourself it's a deep psychological thing, and nobody on the other end is thinking those things about yourself. You're only telling yourself that. So get that out of your way. Yeah, just do it.
I think Claire mentioned on one of our webinars before, she did, I think we did an interview, or she did a presentation webinar. She was talking about, you know, when you're talking on a video, because I said, oh, you know, what do you recommend, you know, imagining the audience naked or whatever, and that's probably not a very good idea. But she was more along the lines of, you know, just imagine you're just talking to your best friend, you know, your best friend who loves all of your ideas. They love everything. They inspire you. They're so enthusiastic about everything, you know, and maybe nobody's got a best friend like that, but you know, it's you're talking like with enthusiasm and passion, and that is so contagious, isn't it? People love that passion and you know, the love for your business and love for what you do, you know. That's my thoughts anyway. So we've got another question here. There's I don't know if you can see the Q&A box. Can you see that, guys, on the panel? So Charlie, chief questioner here, has got some questions coming through. Thank you. So if you're creating a video for a business, do you have any tips for generating content idea for social that don't feature people but still keeps the brands and the tone and the personality? So basically, any tips for generating content ideas that keeps within the brand? So let's ask Gary that one.
Yes, podcasts. You know, so what you can do is, let's say you know, record a podcast 20 minutes. Out of that podcast, you can extract the audio, right? And then put that on a square video with a bunch of subtitles. You can get, you know, 10, 15 little sound bites out of that 20-minute podcast. You can also then transcribe that audio, if you're going to do the subtitles, into the full bunch of text. And then you can turn that into a blog. And then you can pull short 140 character snippets out of that blog and turn that into tweets. So from one 20-minute podcast, you know, very easy, 2 people sitting in a room, you can create 10 videos, 10 tweets, and a blog, plus a podcast, all within an hour, you know, and no one's face is in it. It's all super easy. It's a bit like the Gary Vee strategy. You know, I hate Gary Vee, but it's, you know, Gary Vee. I hate Gary Vee. It does weird in. If you see his sound bites, we call them Skittles, social cut down thought leadership. If you see his Skittles when he comes out, he doesn't say anything. You know, 20 seconds in a video, it's like, what have you actually said? What is your actionable tip? What, you know, it's just now he's just a brand and he sells caps.
Let me just keep not in the attendees a second.
Yeah, I wish.
Sorry, carry on.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying that, you know, a podcast, one simple 20-minute podcast, no faces, can create 5 social cut down videos, a blog post, and 10 tweets, all from a 1 hour little sesh, you know?
Yeah. Do you think when you're so do you get times when you're on a bit of a roll? So you may like a Monday morning you could go, right, I'm going to do 10 videos today, and you just cannot do it for whatever reason, you know, but then maybe come Friday afternoon and you're like, yeah, here we go, I'll give me more video. Is it worth, you know, if you're on a roll, keep doing it, and then splice it up and then use it for the following week, you know, in little snippets like Gary V's, you know, Skittles?
Absolutely, yeah. Like good hair days, man. I don't have good hair days anymore. But yeah, batch creation. If you're doing well, sweet. You should, from a strategy perspective, already have like 20, 30 topics of video content that you want to make. You're not going to sit down, make one video, and then leave. If that first video you felt was rubbish, stop. Do some more tomorrow. But if you did really well, keep going. Don't press stop on the camera. Just chop them up into little videos. You know.
Yeah, I love that. Sorry, Robert, you had your thumbs up. What's your thoughts on that?
No, I was just saying, you know, absolutely, you know, like just bang it out. And we have something called, very similar to what Gary's talking about. We call it a video first strategy, which is start from video and then distill everything else out. Still blog, get it transcribed, right? You can distill social media content, images, et cetera, et cetera. And the one thing about video is that it will last a long time. So we are getting ready in October to launch 22 days of old videos from like 2011, 13, 15, right? Nothing recent. But the messages on those videos are still relevant today, right? So the messaging is there. You know, how much does a video cost? How long should a video be? I mean, these are things that we hear every single day today, right? So what we're trying to say is that here is content we've created, you know, 8 years ago, and we're repurposing it today because it's still relevant, and it showcases, you know, in this case, me, right? Which, you know, this is mostly for social media. It showcases me, which is, you know, where I want to be for LinkedIn. So that's got another, you know, impact right there.
Yeah. I guess from looking at the poll as well, you know, I don't like the way I sound on video. I hate the way I look on video. I mean, they're all pretty close. It comes up, you know, I worry what people will say. And
you'd be lucky, you know, if you posted a video and someone commented on it, that's good. Doesn't matter what they say. And if you're making a video, and you're worried about what you sound like, don't watch the video. Yeah. Post it and let someone else watch it, you know?
Yeah.
Because Paul, your videos, some of those are quite, you know, they're about current affairs, but they potentially on borderlining controversial issues, you know, or current affairs issues that are going on, you know.
I think Gary's point is spot on. I personally don't watch my videos back.
I was gonna,
There's 2 ways of looking at it. I could be missing a trick on feedback and how to improve. Okay, fair enough. But I like to listen to the audience, what they think, and then try and think already about what's my next video or what I'm going to be doing next. And I need to get away from this. It's like looking at view counts and stuff and look at the quality more and look at the response. But yeah, it is sometimes the amount of views and comments you get. If you've engaged someone enough to comment, I believe you're doing something right. And yeah, more comments, great. And yeah, a comment is if it's negative or positive, they have gone out of their way to reply. So, you know, that's quite important. And to answer your question is around controversial. I like the word conflict.
Yeah.
I don't want to be on either side, whether it be right side, left side, talk about politics. That is not me. I don't understand it. But if you can capture some sort of conflict, whether it be football fans, whether it be anyone with a strong passion, then that's always great to film and talk about. Recording the passion and the emotion is priceless, I feel. So you can't always rehearse that. You know, that comes naturally, and I think the authenticness is what you want when you're recording a video.
Yeah, yeah, the authenticity and talking from the heart. Jack, you're about that as well, aren't you?
Yeah, I am, and just because I think when you're authentic, you know what you're talking about, you know what you're passionate about, and I've said it. It's probably about the 5th time I've said it, but you know, people gravitate towards you. It's like how you make friends in the world, or how, you know, when you go to a networking meeting, you'll gravitate towards someone else, and you know, rather than, you know, someone else in the room. Nothing against every person in the room. It's just that's your tribe right there. So the authenticity just brings in that tribe. So, and yeah, like I said, you know, it's much easier to try and think about, you know, what you care about on that day, than trying to think up what does somebody else that you don't know care about. You know, because, and then start talking about that. What do you want an answer to a certain question? Something's bugging you that day. If you do, and LinkedIn's the place for it, put that question out. Now that's authentic. If you're just trying to think, what can I do today to make so-and-so engage with me, then I think you're losing it a little bit, because you're taking it away from what you actually want to ask.
Yeah. Question. We'll go on in a minute. We're coming towards the final 10 minutes, so we'll go into top tips. But before we do that, apart from Gary V, Gary, who would you follow for inspiration on video?
Gary G.
Yeah.
I mean, who would I follow for inspiration on video content? I mean, there isn't anybody massive that I'd follow. I would look at the people that are creating content around you. I mean, and it's for different things. Like Paul's stuff, you know, he does his own content, you know, or own style content, but it might not be the right type of content for what I'm doing if I'm a different type of business, you know. But there isn't really anybody I would necessarily follow. I mean, there's a couple of books I'd do. There's like the Building a Story Brand. That's a really good book by Damien something or other. That's a really good book to listen to, because it tells you about like building a brand, but from like a Hollywood perspective on villains and you know, getting people to fall in love with the hero and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, I hate seeing like video influencers quote unquote on LinkedIn. You're much better off not comparing yourself with others. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's a dangerous slippery slope, then, isn't it?
I'd definitely follow Paul.
What about you, Paul? Who do you follow for inspiration, or who would you recommend?
I follow Gary, Jack, and Robert. No, I think Gary's made a good point, is regarding follow people who make good content. I think that's really, really good. But I think there's a guy called Peter McKinnon who's a camera guy.
Oh yeah.
He spends a lot of time on his production, but him and a guy called Casey, I don't even know his surname, Casey.
That's that.
They all come back to the storytelling strategy of having a start, the conflict, and then the end. And if you can program your brain to have some sort of something in it to break things up, make it interesting, talk about things that are a bit taboo. You know, I've tried stupid things and they've bombed, you know, like filming myself in a shower, but obviously not naked, but like, you know, people saying, why are you doing that? And trying to win a brand with trying to get in front of a shampoo brand, you know, it didn't work, but it's worth a try. No one was hurt. My daughter wouldn't be embarrassed. I wasn't showing anything I shouldn't be showing. It was just a bit of fun. You know, things like this, if you enjoy it, try it and do whatever you feel comfortable, push yourself a little bit and be yourself, really.
Yeah. Did that video go viral?
No, absolute flop. Excuse the pun.
Yeah, that is a bit of a pun. What about you, Robert? Who do you follow for inspiration?
I've been a big fan of Vidyard for a really long time. They're a video platform company out of I think British Columbia, Canada,
Right.
like Western Canada. So my angle with video is very much from a B2B standpoint. So it's more, I follow other people that don't have any relation to, you know, to video. because it's not about the video, it's about the strategy, it's about the implementation, about the digital this, the digital that. It just happens to be video that we're pushing through the funnel. So
yeah. What about you, Jack? Apart from me, who do you follow for inspiration?
So yeah, big for me at the moment is the Goat Agency. If anybody follows Matt and White, the Goat Agency, and the boys over there.
I love them and I hate them.
I want to know why. What's the contrast?
Well, I love them that they make loads of content, but I hate them because they come across a bit douchey. You know, do you know what I mean? They'll never win anything like top class because they come across a bit Jack the Lad. We don't really care. We're the best. And I'm like, oh, you need to be a little bit more humble, I think.
Like I'll narrow it down. It is the Matthew, the guy that does it. I like him, and I like following him. Throughout lockdown, he really sort of just took it on board and did what he had to do with it.
I just think the owners, the two guys, Harry, Hugo, and the other guy, they're not as humble as they could be. Is probably what the best way to put it.
I didn't catch who it was. Who is it?
The Goat Agency.
Oh, the Goat Agency.
Goat, I think.
The influencer agency.
Yeah, that's right. And I like Casey Neistat, but there's a few other people which I really just enjoy watching, which is the Ikarodu Boys. Does anybody know them guys? I don't know where they're from. I think it's an African nation they're from. But they recreate the on a real low budget, recreate trailers and music videos. Just some young boys, must be about 12 years old.
Yeah. Didn't Netflix just donate a whole bunch of gear to those guys?
Yeah. And they've been invited to one of the premieres for the Chris Hemsworth people. Yeah, brilliant. And Celeste Barber. Is it Barber? Babe Barber. I don't know if anybody knows her. She does like a model will put a picture up and she'll do, or a video up, and she'll do her own interpretations, but she's just a mum. And check her out. If you haven't seen Celeste Barber, I think it is. She's just brilliant.
Brilliant. Well, because at the end of this session, we'll email, it will take us a couple of days, but we'll email the cut webinar to the audience. So if you want to email any tips over, that'd be really useful. We'll also include your website and all your contact details as well, so you can engage with the audience too. Fine, we're coming towards the final 5 minutes. So if I'm, for anyone who's just starting out, looking to do their first video, I know there's a couple of people here who are certainly looking to do that. What's your top 3 tips, would you say? Let's start with Robert.
Focus on the messaging. Create your topic and then 2 or 3 bullet points. Mm-hmm. And if you have more than that, save that for a second video. And get started. Like if you're just in a position to create your first, the sooner you get through your first, the quicker you're going to get to the second and your third. And we have a saying that we stole from somebody. A year from now, you're going to be glad that you got started today. Video's not going anywhere. You're going to get better. I'm sure everybody here on the panel sucked the first time they did their video, whenever that was, and then they're probably comfortable now, right? Yeah. Because you practiced, you understood it more, whether you do it yourself or whether you work with a video production company, there's a process involved, and until you understand that process, you don't understand that process, and you're going to get better. So hopefully that was helpful.
Fine. Yeah. What about you, Paul? Would you recommend that everyone does their first video in the shower, or is that
no, definitely not.
Not number one.
My rules with social media is I never show my family. So my daughter, people wouldn't know I've got a daughter on social media. Mm-hmm. But then almost everything in my life up to that point will go into my social media. And I would strongly recommend, maybe it's a Gary Vee thing, maybe it's not, but just try documenting your day, see what people are enjoying, whether it's you cooking. Most people will eat every day. Just simply document what you're eating every day if you enjoy food, and just see people's reactions. You know, if you walk your dog every day, you know, some days you have fog, some days you have sun, things change. You'd be quite surprised how many people will then be interested about your day. It helps with other people with maybe you're feeling a bit down, you know, seeing something else that's good going on. So yeah, I think just get yourself out there really, and whatever you'll do on the weekend as a hobby, whether it be gaming or cycling, or just push record 10 seconds on Instagram and try and practice making a little story, a start, something that dramatic happened, and an end, and go from there.
On LinkedIn, you get like the Facebook police. You know, they're like, "Oh no, this isn't meant for LinkedIn. This is more Facebook." But they're the ones who tend to get more interaction, like in a kind of reverse psychology kind of way. Would you recommend doing, you know, something that's slightly off topic just to break it up a bit, or rather than a full on pitch?
Probably the other thing I don't talk about is family and politics. I don't want to waste time, in my personal opinion, talking about politics. So yeah, I stay away from politics, and you know, maybe don't start doing conflict things straight away. You know, you've got to be quite hard to it, and you know, people talking about things that may make you feel uncomfortable. I think just nice, friendly, document. If your family want to be involved, people love seeing things with families. If whatever you're doing, just start documenting it. Instagram stories I'd recommend, or TikTok, or Facebook stories. Just something very light-hearted, just to start practicing, start conflict or drama, and an end.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Nice. Just a quick one for Leo Hewitt. What are the best examples of recruitment themed videos you've seen, if any, coming from the recruitment background?
I have got one, if you don't mind me interrupting anyone, Gary. There's a really good girl at SW6. I think she's called Lauren, and she does her own little productions. And I think I'll get it and message it to you. But she does really good off the cuff videos, authentic, and I really enjoy what she's going to do next.
Right, interesting. Oh, she's going to have a load of followers now.
Yeah, and get on the panel next time. I like her, and I think she'll be up for it.
Yeah, great. Okay, nice one. Leo, we're going to be seeing you do a chat, maybe do a video. That'd be good. Thanks for that, Paul. What about you, Gary? What's your top kind of 3 tips, would you say?
Batch creation, absolutely key. We spoke about that, having a good hair day and smashing out the content. Yeah. And I think also safety in numbers as well. I mean, we have obviously talked now for the last 45 minutes to an hour, right? And none of us have rehearsed any of this. But what you're able to do is, you've recorded this video, what you're able to do is easily cut out 30 10-second one-liners from what we've just done. So I would maybe recommend video calling a friend and chatting for half an hour, record that video call and cut out little one-liners that relate to whatever your product you're selling. This is obviously like thought leadership stuff over LinkedIn. I would also not do it in the car. And what else wouldn't I do? Like production, invest in your production. 40 quid, that will give you a tripod, a ring light and a lapel. And that is all you need. I mean, that's how I started the agency, really, you know?
Wow, that's interesting. £40, that's not a bad investment, is it?
I actually sell content creator packs, so give me a bell.
Nice little plug. Excellent.
How much are they, Gary? £45?
£99.
Good, yeah. Brilliant. Jack, top 3 tips.
Yeah, so the first thing is, there are going to be LinkedIn police going, "Oh my days, you can't be doing this. Wear a shirt and tie, do all this," because no, it's a social media platform now. Get social or get off, whichever, or get off my newsfeed at least. So don't worry, there are going to be critics out there. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to put a post out. It's just going to be nice engagement. All right, don't worry about whatever's going on in your head and what you're thinking of. Also, I always think that when you open up a video, it's always good to give people an example of what's going to come in the video, a hook, as most of us would call it. Just because too many videos go, "Hi, my name's Jack. I work for Beyond the Brand. But you're not getting to the point in the video. Sometimes to get a bit of engagement, get people watching, go, "I just want to tell you how I can show you how to make £1 million in the next 2 minutes." Don't do that, because if it's a lie, then you're not going to go anywhere. But yeah, definitely, I have to repeat it. Just get some kit and watch some YouTube videos as well. I mean, all of us could teach you any of that or do it for you. But there's so many YouTube videos out there: how to set up a tripod, how to use a lapel mic, how to use good lighting. Go watch those videos, come back and make your videos look better than they are previously. And there we go. Just, yeah, and do it. Just bloody do it.
And I'm sure all you guys would be up for a free consultation, wouldn't you, for our audience to help people get started?
Yeah, if Paul wants to give me a free consultation, I'll have it. I'm joking.
We'll all have a free consultation.
No, yeah. So, yeah. If anybody wants to get in contact, I'm sure we'll all say this is, reach out to us. I mean, we're not.
You know what? Yeah, the best thing to do is do what Harriet did: is make a video, post it on LinkedIn, and tag us all in it, and we'll critique it for you.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
We'll also all share it for you.
There we go. 1 million views. You want it? It's coming.
Lots later. It'd be great to see. I mean, if anyone does do their first video or anyone does do a video, it'd be great to see that happening as a result of some of the webinars we've done. And feel free, just tag us in, and these guys will give you a few tips and hints like you did with Harriet, and that was a real good, a nice little success story there. I love that. Guys, been fantastic having you on today. Thank you very much. Brilliant golden nuggets again. I hope you've enjoyed it. If anyone's got any quick fire questions, maybe to squeeze them in, but I think we're pretty much done on the poll as well. But yeah, the next webinar is going to be on sales and marketing automation. So not quite video. There'll be another video one coming up soon as well. Thank you very much. Great to see you all. Have a great day ahead, Robert, and have a great evening, the rest of you.
Guys.
Nice one, guys. Thanks again.